It's main event time, folks. Of course, get your thoughts in the chat. We would be happy to answer any questions you have or share your thoughts. If you have them with us, put them up on screen. So even if you have questions outside of this big trade, we will talk about that later. But it is time. We cannot keep Kenneth waiting any longer. But, we are frenemies tonight. Look out, Michael. Look out, man. Let's go, Kenneth. We got Siakam kept healed. Can trade healed for a first rounder or let it ride and see what this team can do? Pacers about to make a crazy run.
The
tippity top, just like the Macho Man. The cream rises to the top. So I have to go last here because, I'm the homer, so I don't want people to be tainted by my opinion. I'm going to start with Keebler because Keebler has said that the Pacers got fleeced in this trade. So I'm going to get the details pulled up, but Keebler, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts? 3 first-round picks were exchanged. Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis Jr. going to Toronto. I don't know what the Pelicans got. I think the Pacers got a second-rounder. Oh, they just got some money? Yeah. Hell yeah. Pacers, of course, get Siakam and a second-rounder. So, Keebler, tell us why my boys got fleeced.
So, basically, you don't know if Pascal's going to sign an extension, right? There was a report that came out, obviously, that was like, oh, Pascal loves the chance to play in Indianapolis. He's going to sign an extension, and we're going to work.
He's always wanted to play with Miles Turner. Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that has come out. Yeah,
there's like that report, but you're giving up Bruce Brown, who you just signed to 2 years, $40 million. You trade. Who is the other player? Not Kira Lewis Jr., the guy.
Jordan Nwora.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter. 3 first-round picks for a possible rental. So you're giving up a very good role player and 3 first-round picks for a guy that you don't know if he's going to, stay. And, there's reports that are coming out where he's like, oh, he wants to sign an extension, blah, 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 blah. It seems like horse shit, in my opinion. Not to knock Indianapolis or anything, but it's not a place where I feel like Pascal Siakam's going to want to stay long term. Vegas likes the trade. It moved the Pacers from plus 7,500 to win the finals to plus 6,000. So
you're telling me there's a chance.
So there was movement, but I feel like it's a weird fit also.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like Julius Randle. He gives you that Beyblade spin move kind of thing that you don't know if it's going to be a turnover or actually work. You have Halliburton feeding the rock, but he's going to slow down your transition offense, which is essentially what you built up over the course of the offseason by trading for Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is now playing behind another spin merchant and getting bench minutes now. So, sorry, Obi. As a Knicks fan, I apologize for that for you because we know how much you did not want to play behind Randall, and now you have to play behind knockoff Randall. But I don't know. I feel like it could work, but it's going to take a lot to make it work. And that's why I feel like they got fleeced, especially giving up 3 first-round picks.
Big boy fleece. All right. Before I at the very least, I will play devil's advocate for Pacers fans before I reveal my true feelings. But, James, what are your thoughts? Keebler makes some good points there, I think.
First off, can we just acknowledge that Bruce Brown is the real loser in this whole deal in the last 6 months? He went from vital piece for the Nuggets winning the title, them wanting to keep him going, chasing the money, and then not being what the Pacers wanted, so they shipped him off to the northern Arctic freezing area up north with a loser team.
Yes. Yeah.
He is quite the real loser in this situation.
Retweet. Yeah, he caught the L on that one. Absolute W for the Pacers on the Bruce Brown. If you just look at the Bruce Brown aspect of it, or if you look at if you're a fan like me who didn't want to see any of the rookies or young players traded, you're like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess trade Bruce Brown. He's been here for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. It's interesting. I understand why they did it. they're not as young as you think outside of Halliburton, Obi. And nobody's shown
TJ
the ability
McConnell's
to
not young.
be the second All-Star they're going to need. Maybe Mathurin or what's the rookie they took this year? Jarris Walker could be it in the future, but neither of them have consistently shown it.
Walker can't consistently get minutes, but
they're gonna if Siakam if he re-signs this summer, which a lot of reports saying he's going to, then I like it a lot more. Carlisle's gonna have to get real creative because he doesn't shoot it well. He's 31.7%. You're gonna be talking. I'm sure you're actually gonna. So I think Halliburton's had like 70% of their ball screens on offense, and I think you're going to start seeing Siakam run a bunch of those because Halliburton's a much better shooter. So you could play Halliburton off ball and let him run, and you can see some inverted stuff. It gives them options. He's 4 inches taller than Bruce Brown. He's a better defender for that reason. It makes him bigger. Do I think it pushes the needle? Like, how much of the needle does it push? I was just looking at the standings here. You've got the Pacers are currently 7th at 23-17. Ahead of them is the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, Cavs, Knicks. And John's question, in your opinion, what tier of teams in the East do you think the Pacers join with Siakam? I think probably the same one I had them in to begin with. I think the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers are in their own tier.
Knicks.
Followed by Cavs, Knicks, Heat, Pacers. And maybe Magic in that second one, maybe, if they're lucky. So I think they probably push themselves more into that tier, but it's not getting them into the top 4, I don't think. Can they get out of the play-in? Possibly. So I don't hate it. 3 firsts is a lot, but none of them they're not going to be lottery picks.
Yep.
So from that perspective, I don't hate it. You push your chips in, and you go all for it. Do I think they can win a title with Siakam? No. Do I think they got better? Yes.
Fair enough. So I like that. It's a fair assessment. Okay, so we're going to do 2 things here with my turn. First, Your Honor, allow me to make my defense for the Indiana Pacers. I will represent the other Kevin, Pacers Kev, Mr. Pritchard, and the other bald guy, Mr. Carlisle, in this case. I'm going to piggyback on a few things that James said. I'm going to start with those 3 first-round picks. Yes, and if things go to plan, now if Siakam re-signs, yes, I think that adds some points to the Pacers' favor because otherwise this is a very hefty. It doesn't matter if they're the 20th pick in the first round. 3 first rounds for a guy you're using for 3 months is way too much for me. But the 2 things about the draft picks, like James said, they'll probably be late teens, somewhere in the middle of the first round. Secondly, the last Pacers first round pick to have a contract extension, I believe, was Miles Turner, who they drafted, in 2015? So
the Stone Age.
Yeah, right. And I think the last one before that was probably Paul George. That would have been extended if he, didn't. I can't even remember how that situation played, but you get what I'm saying. It hasn't been now recently with Nembhard and Mathurin and Jarris Walker.
It's now.
Okay, it looks good over the last couple of years. So, but generally speaking, those picks aren't. We're talking about 1 year that pick was TJ Leaf for the Pacers. So we've seen some absolute duds in that sector as well. So that part, I guess, doesn't hurt me as much, again, if he stays. So that was what I will say to sort of play devil's advocate and make my defense for the Pacers. Now we'll get into my personal feelings because you guys probably saw this one coming. I've been saying up until I really didn't want this. This is not what I was hoping, not the move that I thought the Pacers needed to make. This doesn't move the needle for me very much at all. I honestly think they might be moving in the wrong direction here with this move. Keebler touched on this. This feels like another 2K reference here. This almost just feels like if you threw your franchise in a sim and let the computer make trades like, oh, I traded a 4-star player for a 3-star and a 2. It kind of looks good on paper, but when you look at what this Pacers team was seemingly built to do, where does Siakam fit into that? This is a team that plays with a lot of pace. Yeah, he'll make him a little bit better defensively, which is an absolute must.
He helps the second unit when Halliburton's off too. There's a little, when Halliburton's off the court, their offense goes from elite to just okay.
Fair, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, okay, to have that as an option. But I also agree with what Keebler was saying on. I was very high on Obi Toppin coming in, and I know maybe he hasn't set the world on fire yet, but we're not even halfway through his first season on the team. Yeah. There's also Jalen Smith, who just last year the Pacers went out and got, and who I still think has a lot of potential. And then there's Jarris Walker, who is that poor kid who's stuck between the JV and varsity and has to dress for both and doesn't really get minutes on either.
He's in a bad spot.
And so I'm just sort of like, what did we need another power forward for? I would have loved to have seen us maybe go in a different route. I'm excited at the fact that the Indiana Pacers went and traded for an all NBA talent. That doesn't happen all the time. Usually what happens is, we trade for Jermaine O'Neal off of someone's bench and he becomes an all NBA talent. That's usually how we get our good players. So I'm very happy for that. I'm happy that they went out and made a move. It is going to have to change their style of play. I'll agree with what Kenneth said earlier when he talks about being able to keep Buddy Hield or maybe trade him for a first. I do like that. There remains to be some flexibility because you can move off of Hield, or maybe, as he said, you just make a run with it. But I'm going to be cautiously optimistic because I just don't want to be down on this Pacers team. But I'm kind of with you, James. I kind of just have them at the same tier that I already had them at. I think they're in that second level of Eastern Conference contenders. I think with the right matchup, they could be someone's nightmare, and they could, maybe play in an Eastern Conference final if things shake out the right way. But I don't think this is a team that's going to play in the NBA finals this year or anytime soon, and unless I'm very wrong about this fit, and some of these other younger players are still allowed to grow with what's going on. So, let's see. Kenneth with another one. He says, also don't think Nembhard really fits our style. May package him with Hield, and he is a player a lot of teams would want. Yeah, that one, that one's – go ahead, Keebler.
I'm surprised the Knicks aren't tied to him, to be honest, being a good backup point guard.
Yeah, he's a solid –
tied to every single one.
Yeah, he's like who's gonna be like this year's Gabe Vincent, It's gonna be that trendy backup point guard everybody wants. Hopefully he doesn't have the same bad injury luck. I love Nembhard, big fan. Too ISO dominant. Yeah, that is fair. It might not be the right fit packaging him with Hield. I'd be interested to see where that goes. See, the thing that sucks about this is my heart just hurts with this one. I loved this Pacers roster from 1 to 15. Even Nwora, like Jordan, it was not a big loss in the grand scheme of things, but the dude had a 26-point quarter against the Hawks. Like even he's had his moments, and he was another one of those guys. Like I mentioned, Jermaine O'Neal before, that I thought, Malcolm Brogdon when we first got him. There have been some guys we've gotten that Brogdon got hurt, but there have been some guys that we've gotten that were bench players that it's kind of like, oh, once they got an opportunity. Aaron Naismith is a great example, where it's like, oh wow, once they get an opportunity, these guys got some game. So I was really hoping to see that from him. It hasn't really happened, but what has happened, guys? It's amazing. Justin Herbert is in the chat. What
Herbert?
Up, sir? Woo!
He's back, baby.
Let's go. Welcome, sir. Hope you're getting some sleep. While we're here hanging out in the chat, what's Michael Allen got for us? I ended up with Zion Fox, Giannis, and Luka on my 2K My Career. What 2K? Yeah, 2K Sims are insane. All right, they don't make any kind of sense. That's the kind of trade logic we've been seeing. It's the kind of stuff you see on a Bleacher Report trade article. But yeah, anything else about this Pacers trade, guys? We can maybe talk about the Raptors side of it. I know we've already talked about Bruce Brown being leaked to the Knicks, but Keebler touched on it earlier. He said that he's, all things considered, their return's been pretty good for a team that sat on their assets for a year. So, Keebler, anything to add about the Raptors side of this trade?
Well, on the Pacers side, I was going to say I don't think they're done yet. I think they're still going to pull off another trade. I feel like it's kind of like what we did with Anunoby, to where it's like you upgrade what you need right away, and then you look closer to the deadline.
Deadline.
Yeah, closer to the deadline where you can get someone for like a little, like you give up less for a team looking to move off someone. So, that being said, when we're looking at the Raptors side, I don't think they're done yet. I think that like they're obviously giving the keys to Scotty, IQ, and RJ. Like they got younger like they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
They still have some old, like not like old players, but if they want to completely go the young direction.
Kurt Herbert coming in, just going to drop bombs and run.
If they want to go the younger direction, I feel like moving off of Dennis Schroeder would be good, even though he's not like crazy old, but trading him to like a contender. And they know that like they're not going to be competing for anything, so it's like why hold on to like these big contracts?
Yep.
So I don't think both teams are done. I think that it helps both teams in the directions that they want to go. That's basically it. But yes, Emmanuel quickly is gone, and I almost cried.
And hey, we finally found, now that Herbert's back, he answered the question we had earlier. Levine to the Sixers. Okay, solved. We got it locked in. But he also says TJ McConnell. Matched. Don't know about that one, bud. I love me some TJ McConnell too much. Might need him.
Seeing the Raptors go two different ways on their trades is something. They've got young players in one and picks out of the other. Just interesting dynamic. I don't know what else they could do. Keebler, you mentioned them still going out. They're intriguing, and I just don't know what they're going to do.
I do think Bruce Brown gets moved again, though. I think
Brown's out.
He's definitely a player that doesn't feel like he matches the rest of that timeline.
Yeah,
let's give the Knicks another Josh Hart. Am I right, guys?
Sports